Hi there, welcome back viewers. You're watching Market Fatafat with us ET now. Let's keep it going with the stocks, and now on the technical front we're being joined by Arpit Beriwal, the manager derivatives analyst at Equity Research at Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Arpit, hi, thanks so much for taking the time out and joining us this afternoon. Let's kickstart this segment with you and talk about your first stock you've picked out for us is Bharti Airtel. Decent returns coming in over the last 6 months. Stock has done pretty well, up almost 35%. Tell us what you are penciling in next for the stock going ahead.
So good afternoon everyone. So talking about Bharti Airtel, if we see technically, the stock is in clean uptrend. In spite of market weakness last couple of days, Bharti Airtel, there was no weakness. Technically it's trading a lifetime high. Monthly the setup is strong. Weekly it has given a range breakout above 1250, 1240 zones after 4 and 5 weeks. Daily scale it is forming higher highs, higher lows. There is a clear uptrend, and generally the nature of the stock has been it gives a move of 10 to 15%, then consolidates, and that's how been from past 6 months, from 800 to 950, from 950 to 1100, from 1100 to 1250, and now the new range shift towards 1400 plus levels. So looking at the overall chart setup, market has also seen a good recovery in last couple of hours, and looking at the overall setup, so Bharti Airtel will be a preferred for positional basis. One can go long at current levels or minor dip towards 1275 to 1280 levels with keeping stop loss of 1240 for an upside move towards 1350, then 1400 zone.
Surely keeping an eye out on those levels for Bharti Airtel. Let's move on, talk about TVS Motors. This is the stock that we're keeping an eye out on. So it actually came out with a note. They've opened a 90-day negative catalyst watch. TVS Motors. They are saying they're maintaining the sell rating, though high the target price by 50 rupees. So 1,450 is the target price that they've given versus a 1,400. Nonetheless, there's a decline that they're saying because it's a sell rating that they've spoken about. So they believe the competitive intensity is escalating in the electric two-wheel vehicle space. They believe the Q4 results is something that could be a bit weakish for TVS Motors, and lower operating leverage could be something that could be impacting the earnings. Valuation provides little margin for error, so that is why concerns coming around 90-day negative catalyst watch is what is coming for TVS Motors, and that is why the stock is down 2.6% as of now, almost near the day's lowest point as well.
Well, absolutely. So that's a stock that's not holding up pretty well in today's trading. So let's flip focus and talk about a stock that is indeed doing pretty well today, and that is Indus Towers. Gaurav, help us understand what's aiding this stock and what's the news flow when it comes to this one.
Indus Towers is in focus today, and not this stock is not in focus only today, but if you look at the 1 month performance, it was up almost by 50%. Now what is up with Indus Tower today is that they have signed an MOU with NTPC Green Energy, and with this MOU they will actually explore a joint development of renewable energy based power projects, which will include solar, wind and energy storage options as well as solutions. Now with this, Indus is also aiming to expand its renewable energy portfolio to gigawatt scale capacity. Now if you look at the stock performance also, it is up almost 3%, and said in the last 1 month only, this stock has given more than 40% of the return back of multiple tailwinds. So definitely keeping an eye on this counter. We may see further upside coming up in this stock.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on Indus Towers, buzzing away in trade for the last few trading sessions is what we've seen as well. Let's move on, talk about ICICI Securities. Ansh, this one is in focus on the back of its numbers. How are they looking like?
Yes, also the stock is actually in green. It is trading 1% in trade today. They have reported revenue at 1,543 crore as compared to 1,323 crore in the previous quarter, which is up by around 16.7%. Also, EBITDA has seen an up move from 911 crore to 1,009 crore, which is up by around 18.4%. PAT also has seen jump of over 15% from 466 crore to 537 crore. Talking about EBITDA margin here, so we are it is at 69.9% versus 68.9%, which is up by over 100 basis points on quarter-on-quarter basis. The company has also declared second interim dividend of 17 rupees per equity share. As if we talk about institutional equities, that revenue is up by over 110% on year-on-year basis, whereas issuer service and the revenue is up by 724% on year-on-year basis.
Alright, Ansh, thanks so much for taking us through that. Let's get a move on. Let's once again take it to Arpit and talk a little bit about the technical charts. Arpit, Escorts is your next pick on the chart, and when you look at the 6-month move, it's a negative return coming in from the stock. So tell us, what are you looking ahead for this stock? What are the levels that you're looking at?
Yeah, so rightly as mentioned about escorts, if you see the monthly structure from past 6 months, that was in the downtrend, and instead of auto index at lifetime high, the stock was not performing. But this month, there is a good change in the structure of the stock. On monthly scale, it negated the structure of lower highs, and from a strong bullish candle. On weekly scale, it is hovering above 3000 levels, which was the initial hurdle level, and now on daily scale, slowly, gradually, it is trading above short-term moving average. So looking at the old chart setup wise, the risk reward is quite favorable, and slowly, gradually, it can head towards its previous all-time high levels towards 50, 3400 levels. On immediate basis also, daily it is holding about 3050 levels. So risk reward is quite favorable. One can go long at current levels with keeping stop loss of 3050 for an upside moves towards 3300 levels.
And out on those levels for escorts over there, but let's slip into a very short break on that note. Don't go anywhere. We're seeing Brent crude has erased all those gains, so it's going to be interesting how the second hour of the day actually turns out. But let's slip into a break.
Hi there viewers, welcome back and thanks so much for staying tuned into Market Fatafat. Now let's keep it going with the stocks. Gaurav talked about Inox Wind, a good move coming in on this stock today. Stock is up and flying away in the wind. So tell us more about this stock and what's aiding the stock today.
Well, yes, you're absolutely right about the stock price of Inox Wind, because if you look at the company, now the company has won a repeat order of 210 megawatt for its 3 megawatt WTG from Hero Future Energy. Now what is happening is that after this commissioning of this project, they have also won multi-year O&M services to be a part of this contract, and this WTG will be supplied technically from Q3 of this FY25. Now given the order, the company has said that this order actually reinforces the confidence on 3 megawatt WTGs that they have, and this is being one of the most efficient turbines in its class, is what the company is claiming. Talking about the stock performance again, this is up almost 3.5% in day trade, and given that in the last 1 year this stock has given more than 400% of the returns, definitely this stock is worth keeping an eye out, because we may see further upsides in the coming ahead.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on that. But we do have Hindustan Zinc numbers coming in on the screen. We'll wait for more details on that. But before that, let's go across to Arpit to understand what's the chart indicating for HAL, because this is making the list of a lot of technical analysts, Arpit. We've already seen that run up in the defense pack, then it was a bit subdued and managed to hold on to those gains. Look at the 6 months also, almost doubling there as well. So what's the view now on HAL? What should one be doing?
Talking about HAL across mid-cap, last correction also in mid-cap space, but this counter has been a big outperformer. The chart clearly speaks for itself. Monthly structure, the trend is intact. Weekly scale, slowly, gradually, the base is shifting higher. So it started moving above 1000 levels, then 3200, then 3600 level. And on the daily, if you see from past 7 to 8 sessions, it is consolidating. But the good part is that it is continuously holding at high levels, trading a lifetime high. So gradually, we're expecting a good move towards 4000 plus levels. Our defense pack has been under strong outperformance. So HL technically, so it has given a new range breakout above 3650 levels. Slowly, gradually, it is moving higher. It is trading about short-term moving averages. So from here on also, we can expect good 8 to 10% upside move in coming couple of weeks. So HL would be a preferred pick within defense space, with keeping stop loss of 3650 for an upside move towards 1000 plus levels.
Only keeping an eye out on that. That is HAL for you all. But let's talk about these OMCs, HAL, BPCL, IOCL. All of them are in focus. Every time crude moves, we talk about these stocks are in focus because the rise in crude prices impacts their margin, and that's the main reason that we talk about these stocks. But recovery comes in for these stocks. Why? Because Brent crude oil prices have recovered. The gains actually that we saw not recovered. There it is. Yeah. So that positive for these companies, and that's why they erase off the gains. So that is interesting to watch out for. But these OMCs surely keeping an eye out on today and the oil and gas pack. But we also managed to speak to Vandana Hari, who said that heightened volatility is something that is being penciled in for the crude prices. What more did they have to say? Let's go across and listen it.
All that we can expect in the coming hours is a lot of the new fear premium that has crept crude will more or less remain intact, but expect even heightened volatility. For the rest of this year, I think it really hinges on US's ability to de-escalate the situation in the Middle East, and then of course then perhaps go to tackling what's happening with Ukraine and Russia. Even there, things seem to be slipping out of the American control, because Ukraine has been firing drones into refineries and energy infrastructure, disregarding US entreaties not to do so. So big question mark over these two ongoing wars and the risk premium in crude.
Well, all right, let's get a move on then. And before we talk about the next stock, let me quickly mark Hindustan Zinc's numbers that have just come out. Quarter four numbers are out. Their consolidated revenue has fallen a little bit at 7,559 crores versus 8,509 crores on a year-on-year basis. Profitability also sharply down at 2,038 crore rupees versus 2,500 crore rupees this time last year. So, well, the first look looks a little weak when it comes to these numbers.
Because it seems like there's a bit of a fall coming in.
Absolutely. We'll wait out for more details on these numbers as well. But let's get a move on before that, and let's talk about Schneider Electric, because that stock is the next one in focus. And Schneider Electric is in focus on the back of a Goldman Sachs. And what Goldman Sachs has to say is they've gone ahead and they have maintained their sell rating on the stock, on the back of which Schneider Electric is under a little bit of pressure, down almost 5% even as of now as we speak. And Goldman Sachs has initiated coverage with a sell recommendation. They say that the risk reward is unfavorable in the company's stock after 375% rally in the last 12 months. So they are penciling in some cool off when it comes to the stock's move. They've set a price target of 470 rupees, which is much lower than the current market price. We need a steep cut coming in compared to 720, almost a 40% cut coming in from the current market price. So, well, on the back of this bearish note that Goldman Sachs has initiated, stock is under pressure, down 5% as we speak.
Okay, that is Schneider Electric for you. Let's move on, talk about GMR Infra. Then Anshan, why is the stock in focus today?
Yes, so the stock is actually trading in green. It is up over 1% in trade. It is in focus on the back of the monthly traffic data which they have shared for the month of March, as it has crossed 120.8 million PAX mark, and this is the highest ever PAX traffic, which is up around 20%. Also, the domestic traffic is up by 17% year-on-year basis, whereas the international traffic is up by 33%. Now, if you talk about airport specific, then Delhi Airport handled highest ever PAX traffic. In FY24, PAX traffic crossed 73 million PAX mark, which is up by 13% on year-on-year basis. Whereas if we talk about Hyderabad Airport, it too handled highest ever PAX traffic, and in FY24, the PAX traffic crossed 25 million PAX mark, which is up by 19% on year-on-year basis.
Okay, surely keeping an eye on that, but let's move on and actually slip into a very short break. That was the 20th stock for today. We'll come back with more stocks after the break.
The love which I had seen in her eyes, and promises of a new sunrise. If you hold me tight, you'll feel the love which I feel inside. Hold me tight, just hold me tight.
In the jungle of investments, there are companies which move slow and go nowhere. Only a few companies become rare, dominant, unchallenged, and long-lasting. Presenting Trust MF Flexi Cap Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
छत टपक रही है।
करने वाले ना पापा, बस घर मिलने की देर है।
इसीलिए तो घर मैजिक ब्रिक्स पे देखिए। प्रॉपर्टी की पूरी इन्फॉर्मेशन विद एक्सपर्ट एडवाइस
और 15 लाख से ज्यादा प्रॉपर्टी ऑप्शंस हैं।
एटलीस्ट मेरा घर तो लाखों में होगा।
When our big boss was MD, he take care of us.
And our Prince Sahab is busy insuring his family. Oh, big boss, you?
He's busy obtaining term insurance for his family. All office is also our family. Am I right?
Let's close the deal.
Thank you. Verma ji, will you have tea with the prince?
LIC's Group Term Assurance Plan. Take care of your office family.
First floor going up. Stand clear. Closing.
Viewers, hi there, welcome back. You're still watching Market Fatafat with us on ET now. Before we move on to the next talk, let's come back to Hindustan Zinc's numbers. Let's talk a little bit more about that because now we have more details. EBITDA has come in at 3,649 crores versus 4,255 crores on a year-on-year basis, a drop over there also. But margins is the one that we're watching out for because they have come at 48.3% versus 50% on a year-on-year basis. So a slight bit of a downtick on the margins front as well. Stock is under pressure as of now, 1.5% lower as we speak. But let's go to move on then and talk about an earnings candidate. And HDFC Bank is all set to release its numbers tomorrow, Gaurav. I hear that
has a hectic Saturday tomorrow.
He
He's
does
surely
indeed.
going to have a busy one, but today it's seeing a rally, no?
Today it's seeing a rally, and well, lots of banks are slated to come up with their numbers in the following weeks as well. So Gaurav is going to have hands full of these numbers. But Gaurav, take us through what HDFC Bank's numbers are expected by the street. I believe it's a good set. That's what we're looking out for.
If you look at HDFC Bank and if you look at the provisional numbers, they were actually quite strong. So, for example, advances growth was at 1.6% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. If you look at deposits, it grew almost by 7.5% on a quarter-on-quarter basis, which was actually strong. And CASA ratio also grew by 50 basis points. And on back of now analysts are expecting net interest income to increase almost by 2% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. And at the same time, they're expecting net interest margin to decline a little by 5 basis points. This may come up in the range of 3-5%, and at the same time they're expecting ROA to remain at 2%. All in all, they do not see any kind of risk to asset quality for the bank. On back of this news, if you look at the stock performance also, it is up 2% because there is no negative news coming up from the analyst expectation at least. So definitely keeping an eye on this counter because management commentary will be very interesting and important for the HDFC Bank's growth from here on.
Absolutely, and that's what we're keeping an eye out in terms of commentary. But Arpit, are you keeping an eye out on for HDFC Bank? That lull period for HDFC Bank seems to be over at least. Is that what your chart is indicating?
Just to talk about HDFC Bank, if we see overall the bigger film structure, it has been an underperformer. But from past couple of weeks, if we see initially 1480 was a crucial resistance zone for the stock, and in last week we have seen a good rally from 1480 levels to 1560 levels. Today it retested the same level and bounces almost 41 from a day low. As tomorrow is the result for HDFC Bank, so overall technical setup wise, it is looking a bounce back move of 3 to 4% on the upside, with keeping stop loss of 1480 for an upside move towards 1580 levels. Overall, the stock is in a range, but current junction as stock is from high levels, so the risk reward is quite favorable. And banking space, bank Nifty has corrected almost 2,000 points in last week itself. So current junction, the risk reward is quite favorable. Good 2 to 3% upside move we can see in HDFC Bank as per the result.
Keeping an eye out on HDFC Bank there. But let's move on and talk about Vesuvius India. Why is that one in focus? Now the UK-based Vesuvius Group said that it will be increasing its investment capex in India to 1,000 crores. That's the word that came in from the CEO of the UK Vesuvius, Patrick Andre. Now he's saying that given their compelling growth that they're seeing in India and basis of their investment pipeline, they envisage surpassing their earlier stated investment plans of around rupees 500 crores to reach now 1,000 crores of outlay over the next few years. And Vesuvius has been making significant investments in India by expanding the capacity of existing manufacturing plants as well as setting up 3 new green manufacturing projects and plants which will create additional capacity of 2,50,000 tons per annum. That's something interesting with more capex plans coming in from Vesuvius Group, which is based in UK in Vesuvius India. So yes, a positive outlook they have for India, and that is why the stock is up almost 4% in trade today.
Alright, a good stock move coming in over there. Let's get a move on. And Arpit, talk to us about Jindal Steel. Now these metal counters have been in focus for some time now. Tell us what you are penciling in on the charts. What are the levels you are spotting?
Yeah, so talking about metal space as a whole, within the metal space, we have seen a fantastic rally in the entire metal pack in last month itself. Past couple of days, we have seen consolidation at higher zone, but Jindal Steel has been a strong space within the metal pack. So technically, it is trading at lifetime high territory. Monthly, weekly setup is quite strong. On daily scale, it is consolidating between 880 and 40 zones. However, looking at the overall chart setup, slowly steadily we can expect another upside move for from current levels 8-7% upside move, and it can touch definitely 4-digit figure in coming weeks. So overall, looking at the overall space wise also, we are expecting quite outperformance in this. So one can go long at current levels with keeping stop loss near around 840 835 levels for an upside move towards 90 then 1000 zones.
All right, we'll be watching out for all of those levels on that stock as well. But let's move on, talk about Apollo Hospitals. This stock is also in focus on the back of brokerage note. Stock is doing pretty well today, and well, it has also aided Nifty's overall move also winning today because it's a Nifty 50 constituent as well. So let's take a look at what this note is. HSBC is the one coming out with this note. Reiterated their buy stance. They've hiked the target price to 7,475 rupees, implying a 12-month potential upside of almost 18.5%. Now, HSBC also calls Apollo its preferred stock in the hospital space with an expectations of sustained earnings growth going ahead as well. So positive note coming in from HSBC for hospitals. Stock is holding up pretty well, almost 1.8% higher as we speak.
Okay, surely holding on pretty well over there. That's Apollo Hospital. But let's move on and talk about Torrent Power. Ansha, what is the stock doing? What's in focus today?
So the company has entered into share purchase agreement for acquisition of 100% equity share capital of SPV from the seller for around 50 lakh. Now the name of the target entity is MSKVI 9th Solar SPV Limited. Also, if we see the chart on year-to-date basis, the stock is up over 60%, advancing for fourth consecutive month, and it also trades above key DMA levels. So for those reasons, the stock is in focus and it looks positive.
All right, let's get to move on and talk about Indigo or Interglobe Aviation. Arpit, on the technicals, summer holidays and all right around the corner. We're seeing a spike in airfares also coming up as demand for air travel is going up. But that's on the fundamental side. Tell us what you are spotting for Indigo in terms of the technicals. What are the levels you're seeing?
Yeah, so talking about Indigo, if we see overall the chart structure, the bigger time structure is strong. On monthly scale, it is continuously in uptrend. On weekly scale, also we have seen a good rally. So on daily scale, if we see the stock move from 200 levels to 800 levels, a vertical rally of almost 600 points. In past couple of days, it has retested, it has corrected from high levels, and it has rebounded near 3400 levels. So you see the positional structure, the stock is in clear uptrend. On weekly structure, the stock is good, and on daily scale, it has retested its previous breakout zone. So it's near its support zone, and looking at the overall chart setup, we can expect another 7 to 8% rally towards its previous all-time high. So we can go long at current levels Indigo or minor dip towards 3540, 3550 levels, with keeping stop loss of 3450 for an upside move towards 3650, then new lifetime high towards 3850 levels.
Let's move on and talk about Axis Bank then, Gaurav. Why is this one in focus? What's keeping it in the news?
Yes, for Axis Bank also the results are coming on 24th April. But what was the news that kept the Axis Bank stock in focus today is that basically the company came up with a notice of the annual meeting. And during this notice, they also mentioned that Axis Bank will evaluate fundraising options, which will include potential QIP during the meet. Now, this was actually a surprise for investors because if we recollect the statements that given by management in 3Q, the management had categorically denied any kind of need for capital raise. And given that they have now looking for QIP options, it came up as a negative surprise for investors. Another trigger for the bank would be that the CEO's current term is going to end on December 24th, and the on the extension is still awaited. Although, if you look at analysts' view, they believe that the notification of the QIP might be an enabling provision for capital raise, which is actually a normal cause of business for the bank. But if you look at the stock performance, it went down almost 2% in the day's trade in the morning. It was down almost at below 1,000 rupees level. Now that the stock has recovered, but still definitely keeping an eye on Axis Bank because it will be a key movement if the QIP comes up for the stock.
All right, Gaurav. Well, thanks so much for taking it. through that, and let's talk about the next stock in terms of the technicals. And Arpit, you picked out BSE for us. When I'm looking at the charts, not much happening when it comes to the last 6 months. In fact, I believe I've updated chart, but there are good moves coming in terms of 6 months moves. So tell us what's next for the stock. What are you penciling in?
Yeah, so talking about BSE as a whole, if we see monthly time frame, it is in clear uptrend, and last it has given a breakout above 2500 levels. That was a consolidation breakout after 4 months. On weekly scale, in last couple of weeks, from March lows, it's seen a almost 30% rally from 2200 to 2800 levels. So looking at the overall positional setup also, it has given a pole and flag breakout on monthly setup, and positionally we can expect a move towards 3200, 3300 plus. So BSE within this space, it's quite strong on daily scale also, trading about short-term moving averages, and look at the overall chart setup also, it is consolidating between 2650 to 2850, but the trend is quite strong, and we have seen good recovery also in the market along with in the broader indices. So good 8 to 10% rally can be seen from levels. So one can go long at BSE with keeping stop loss of 2600 for an upside move towards 3000, then 3200 levels.
3200 levels even after this is what one could expect for BSE. Interesting that's shaping up for BSE, but that was the last stock for today, stock number 30. Thank you so much Arpit as well as Gaurav for joining in with us on the show, as well as it's a goodbye from me, myself, as well as the team who put this show together. A happy weekend to all of you all.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.